Hi everybody, we have a more of a relaxed, casual video, vlog sort of style video going on here. If you haven't seen yet, there is a video going around called The Reviewer's Tag, started by my man Lupe from the Lupe Experience. I'll have his link down below. Awesome gentleman. Great idea. I'm really excited to be a part of this. My friend Joey actually tagged me. Hi Joey, how's it going? So I'm here to answer some questions. I'm going to do this like unedited, so um, or I'm going to try to do it unedited anyways. So here's the tag questions. What are your earliest fragrance memories is number one. So my earliest fragrance memory was this isn't a good memory. Um, I've always been kind of keen on fragrances ever since I was like really young. But the first memory that I have, which is a terrible, it's bad memory, was when I was really sick with the flu. My mother was graduating college when I was like 7, and I was supposed to go to the ceremony with her, but I got sick on the way there actually. So I was with my grandmother driving, and she had to take me back home and then go back and watch my mother graduate. And I remember the smell of the perfume that she was using was making me more sick. Not my grandmother, my mother. It was still, I could still smell it in the house. I could, I smelled it on her before we left, and it was like it turned my stomach. Obviously, I didn't get sick because of the fragrance. I had the flu, but it didn't help matters. And I know exactly what fragrance it is, and I can't smell this stuff to this day without thinking of this memory. Calvin Klein Euphoria, or no, I'm sorry, Calvin Klein Eternity for Women. Um, and I just instantly know what it is whenever I smell it. I can't stand the stuff. So that is my earliest fragrance memory. It's not a good one, but beyond that, I always her and my Uncle Steve were my two first fragrance memories. Eternity for Women, and my Uncle Steve. Whenever I went to my grandfather's on the weekend, he would always be there. My great uncle Steve, he would be there, and they'd have like coffee every Saturday. And he always wore the original Polo by Ralph Lauren. I just remember really enjoying the smell of that. So the original Polo is nostalgic for me, and Eternity, Get It Away From Me. So those are my earliest fragrance memories. As far as fragrances go, of course we have memories of fragrances that are always going to remind us, like food and stuff like that, of different things that have happened in our lives that are nostalgic. Like if I ever smell green peppers, it reminds me of when I was like 4. I remember smelling green peppers, my grandmother cutting up green peppers to put in her goulash. So whenever I smell, I know there's a fragrance by Eau d'Italie, and it has like a green pepper note in it, and it reminds me of that. And of course, I smell apple pie anytime, and it just reminds me of my grandmother's house ever since I was like 3, and smelling her make her first my first experience with apple pie. So anytime I smell anything like Ombre Narguilé by Hermes or anything like that, it reminds me of that, back to my childhood. So number 2, what was my first fragrance purchase? This is going to seem kind of nuts probably, but my first fragrance purchase was when I was in 5th grade. I got the original Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger, and yeah, I mean, that's right when I instantly noticed that people liked the way I smelled. I remember the bus driver, she was a little younger, maybe like 35, she would always compliment my cologne. So that's one of my first fragrance purchase, and like the first compliments that I was getting, even when I was a little youngster. She said it reminded her of her boyfriend. So there's that, Tommy by Tommy Hilfiger. So what was my first niche purchase? There was actually 3 that I purchased all at once at the same time. It was Christmas time, and I had been testing the houses of Bond and Creed. I remember conversing with Mark about it. What niche houses should I introduce myself to first? Those were the 2 we recommended, and to this day, those are the 2 that I would recommend too, because they're very, they're good, high quality fragrances that are easy to get along with. The 3 I purchased all at once were Bond Number 9 Brooklyn, Bond Number 9 Silver Factory, and Creed's Virgin Island Water. So technically I purchased them all at the same time, and the first one that I actually got my hands on in the mail was Bond Number 9 Silver Factory. So that one has a very special place for me, and my fragrance journey. Um, and what was my first blind buy? Oh my God, this is gonna be really hard to think about. Um, when I got introduced to this whole hobby, I knew that I wanted like something new to like reinvent myself. That's how this whole thing started. I was at Macy's and I was like, I'm sick of wearing Abercrombie and Fitch Fierce because that's what I wore for about 5 years, 4 years. That's all I bought. That's all I wore. I was like, I want to reinvent my look. I went through a bad breakup, so I was like, I want nothing to remind me of that. Reinventing myself. Um, and the first one that I tried, I was like, this is really different. I didn't know if I liked it or not, but it was different. This is how I got introduced to the videos. Was Terry Mugler Angel Men. I tested it. I tested it. I tested it. I was like, I need this. So I looked up all the videos. I found Mark. I found Tim, etc. And I think the first blind buy I ever made, once again, it was a bulk blind buy, was Banana Republic Slate, Gucci Pour Homme 2, and I believe it was Issey Miyake, L'Odyssey, which I absolutely hate. I cannot stand L'Odyssey. But the other two I did enjoy quite a bit. My best blind buy. My best blind buy, there's two of them. I can't put one over the other because they're both very, very amazing blind buys for me. And the reason why, before I even get into what they were, because you're going to say that I was nuts, is because they were very exclusive at the time. It was difficult to get either one, so I basically had to blind buy them, or I wasn't going to smell them. It was Nasumato Black Afghano and Gowan's Cure Beluga, which I thought was being discontinued, but you can still get them. So those were my two best blind buys. My worst blind buy, by far, Montal's Oud Cure d'Herbe. Just no. I was on my leather kick and I made a bad choice. Anyways, so my favorite fragrance notes: sandalwood, leather, cinnamon, bergamot, anything that's got incense in it, anything that's got, I do really enjoy pepper in my fragrances. Amber, I absolutely love amber. Tonka bean, anything like that, anything that's got gourmand qualities. And actually, probably you're not going to be able to tell by my videos, but I absolutely love peach. If I could find like a really masculine peach fragrance, that would be great. And last but not least, I adore cedar wood. So anything with those notes, I usually fall head over heels in love with, and yeah, so that's that. My favorite fragrance house, Tom Ford, by far. I literally could wear just about anything by that guy, and I'm enjoying it. Just amazing fragrances. What fragrance best describes me? Well, for me, you probably can't tell through the videos so much, but I'm very, very outgoing. I'm very confident in myself. I'm kind of weird, quirky, whatever, and I don't know, something that kind of represents all that kind of stuff. Loud, outgoing, fun, and I'm a pretty nice guy, so sweet. Don't let me fool you. Anything that's basically, I don't know, this is going to sound cliche, but anything that's like along the lines of like a creamy, Midnight in Paris is a good one, for example. I think that kind of represents who I am. A lot of people, though, would say that Abercrombie and Fitch is Fierce is Tim, because most people that know me know that scent is like linked to me. But I'd say like Midnight in Paris, even like Chanel's Egoist, something along those lines. It's got the creamy yet spicy sort of thing going on. What is my favorite fragrance of all time? Over the years, this has popped up as like number one or number two, but I gotta say it's Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille is my favorite fragrance of all time. It just kind of is everything I ever wanted in a fragrance, and I haven't found anything that could replace that for me. My favorite fragrance. What is my fragrance profile? So what do I look for in a fragrance? I look for something that is unique. I look for something that projects well. because I do like to be loud with my fragrances, I look for something that's sweet. I look for something that's got some depth to it, and that's long lasting. So that's basically, and like gourmand qualities. So anything that's like that, sweet, long lasting, unique, has depth to it, kind of, yeah, like in a relationship. Um, anything like that. What is my favorite, or what is my fragrance resolution going forward with this hobby? Um, Honestly, I pull the trigger on fragrances a lot, which is fine, but I don't consider myself a collector. I consider myself the guy who tries to find use out of every bottle. There are certain fragrances that I will collect, like vintage Tom Fords or vintage Dior's or something like that, that will stick around whether I use them or not. But other than that, I think basically you have to find, unless you're loaded, I'm not, I'm a college student, um, you have to find a way to, you know, you have to find use out of every bottle. So for me, try not to buy every bottle, but I do need to get, I think most of all, just get my nose on everything. Get my nose on everything. I smell it all. I don't care what it is. I want to smell everything. Um, and that's basically the reviewer's tag. I hope you all enjoyed. The two people that I'm going to tag are going to be Gary and Creed Frags. So I'm going to put their links down below, and I hope you all enjoyed. I'll talk to you all later.